Letters from the Wind. In the small coastal town of Windmere, where the sea whispered secrets to the shore and the skies stretched endlessly blue, lived a quiet girl named Alara. She worked at a quaint bookstore that smelled of old paper and lavender, a place where time seemed to slow down. Alara loved stories, not just the kind bound in leather and ink, but the ones people carried in their hearts. Every day at 5 p.m., a man named Lucas came in. He was a travel photographer with kind eyes and salt in his hair from years of chasing sunsets across the world. He always bought postcards, never books, and Alara always wondered who he was writing to. One rainy afternoon, curiosity got the better of her. She asked, "Who are the postcards for?" Lucas looked at her and smiled. "They're for the girl I haven't met yet. I write to her from every place I go, so when I find her, she'll know that I've been waiting." Alara laughed softly. "That's either the most romantic or the loneliest thing I've ever heard." Lucas replied, "Maybe it's both." Days turned into weeks. Postcards became their secret language. Lucas began leaving one for her at the counter every time he left town. Some were poetic, others silly, some filled with longing. Slowly, Alara realized she looked forward to them more than anything else in her day. One winter, Lucas didn't come. No postcards. No goodbyes. Just silence. Alara waited. Winter turned to spring. She went through her days with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She still opened the bookstore every morning. She still arranged the postcards he left on the back wall, one for every city, every thought, every whisper from afar. Then one morning, a final postcard arrived. It wasn't like the others. The photo wasn't of a place, but of a bench by the sea, their sea. On the back, it simply read, "If you ever wondered who the postcards were truly for, it was you." Heart racing, Alara ran down to the shore. There he was, Lucas, older, wearier, but smiling like he did when he first walked into the bookstore. "I traveled the world," he said. "But I only ever wrote to you." She walked to him, the sea breeze tangling her hair, and for the first time, she didn't feel like a character in someone else's story. This was theirs. Where the moonlight touches the lake. The quiet town of Elmsworth nestled by the side of a silver lake, surrounded by evergreen trees and whispers of old folklore. It was in this town that Claire Bennett, a reserved librarian with a heart full of forgotten dreams, lived a life of simplicity and routine. Every morning, she opened the oak doors of the library at 9 a.m., and every evening, she watched the sunset melt into the lake from her small balcony. Across the lake, in a weathered cabin with ivy creeping up its stone walls, lived Elias Reed, a once-renowned travel photographer who had disappeared from the world after a tragic accident took both his sight and his fiancée 3 years ago. He had chosen solitude, seeking refuge in nature and silence. Their worlds collided one autumn evening. Claire had decided to take a different path home, wandering along the lakeshore to clear her mind. She had recently found an old letter tucked inside a donated book. One written by Elias himself during his travels in Morocco. She had admired his work as a teenager and was stunned to discover that the author of the heartfelt letter was now living just across the lake. Curiosity pulled her toward his cabin like gravity. She approached his porch cautiously. "Mr. Reed," she called softly. Elias turned his head slightly, his movements calm and cautious. "Who's there?" "My name is Claire. I found something that belonged to you, a letter. I thought you might want it back." Elias extended his hand, and she placed the folded paper into it. He ran his fingers over the paper as though he could read it through touch. A ghost of a smile played on his lips. "I thought this was lost forever." They talked for a while about books, letters, photography, and the changing colors of the leaves. She described the view of the lake for him in vivid detail, and he listened intently, his mind painting with her words. From that evening on, Claire found herself returning again and again. Sometimes with books, sometimes with stories, sometimes with silence. Elias would sit and listen, and she would read aloud by the fireplace. In return, he shared stories from his travels, painting worlds for her with his voice. With every visit, something fragile and beautiful began to blossom. Winter arrived. Snow blanketed the town and the lake froze in silence. Claire started bringing Elias warm soup and woolen scarves. He gave her an old camera he no longer used, encouraging her to capture the world he could no longer see. One night, as they stood on the porch listening to the wind, Claire whispered, "Why did you stop letting people in?" Elias hesitated. "Because when I lost her, I thought I didn't deserve happiness anymore." Claire took his hand. "Then maybe, it's time you let someone remind you what it feels like." In the silence that followed, their fingers intertwined. The snow fell like blessings around them. Spring came, and with it, a new beginning. Elias learned to walk to the library with Claire's help, using a white cane she gifted him. He taught photography to children by describing scenes and letting them interpret with their own lenses. Claire, once lonely and quiet, laughed more freely and often found herself humming by the window. By the lake where moonlight touched the water, they often sat on a bench, his head resting against her shoulder, her voice painting pictures of starlit skies and fluttering leaves. And one summer night, under a sky full of fireflies, Elias whispered, "I may not see your face, Claire. But I see you. I feel you. And I love you." Claire smiled, her heart full. "Then that's all I'll ever need." In Elmsworth, where the lake glimmers in the moonlight, love found a way to heal what was once broken. And two hearts, one that saw too much, and one that had seen too little, found home in each other.